Naruto's Hidden Orphan Chapter 1, Sequence. Chapter 1 Prologue. Bump. A blasting talisman slid across the baby's cheek and blasted beside the person in front of him. The person in front of him was overturned by the blasting wind and waves, protecting the baby beside him. He held the baby in his arms from behind, and his whole body slammed into the tree making a painful sound. Konoha is coming, I must hold on. Cough. Cough. He coughed up a mouthful of blood, jumped up from the ground, jumped on the tree again, and ran forward at a rapid pace, and the four masked ninjas behind him quickly caught up. He carried the baby behind him again, made a quick seal with his hands, then turned and jumped back. Art Fire escaped Fireball. The huge fireball sprayed out towards the four masked people behind, and the four masked people hurriedly avoided. Taking advantage of this gap, the person carrying the baby continued to run forward at a high speed. Through a dense forest, I finally saw the gate of Konoha. Done. A great river of earth. In the end, a masked man behind him was imprinted, and the ground under the man's feet turned into mud, like a river, and rushed him towards the four masked men. Oops. He scolded secretly, and almost fell unsteadily to the ground. Lei Jun. Go. A thunder light appeared on his hand, directly reaching into the soil under his feet. The soil stopped, he jumped out of the soil, his feet had become because of his own attack. He still endured the pain and ran towards Konoha's gate. Can't catch up. The four masked men stopped in the woods and looked at the man who ran to the gate. The four looked at each other and said, "Retreat." One of them said, and the four disappeared here in an instant. Who is it? The man carried the baby to the gate of Konoha, and the four endured in front of them, looking like a chunin. Help. When the man saw them, he couldn't hold it any longer and fell to the ground. The baby behind looked at the door of Konoha, his slightly opened eyes did not move, he never cried from beginning to end. End of this chapter. Naruto's Hidden Orphan Chapter 2, Adopted by Watergate. Chapter 2 Adopted by Watergate. In other words, is that person dead? A yellow-haired joinin, at this time, was in front of the bed at Konoha Hospital, looking at the sleeping baby on the bed. Yes. A chunin next to him nodded. When he collapsed at the door, his life was dying, and he almost got here by willpower. Have you checked your identity? Huang Fa Shengnan said. It's a secret family on the border of the country of fire. The Solo family is good at using wind and thunder ninjutsu. The whole family was wiped out yesterday. It's unknown who did it. The man who died was Insuo. The servant of the Luo family, this baby is the only survivor, just born. The Insuo family? Huang Fa Hunin frowned, having never heard of this family. Because it's a hidden family, I don't usually make public appearances. I can tell that this name was also obtained from Hokage-sama, and it belongs to a confidential file. It seems to be a big trouble. Huang Fazheng smiled bitterly, as long as it involves confidential matters, it is not that simple. Wow. The door of the ward was opened. Naruto-sama. Chunin hurriedly greeted the person who opened the door. Yes. The visitor was a gray-haired old man. Although he looked quite old, he was still full of energy. Lord Naruto, why are you free to come here? Huang Fa Shangren also greeted him. In Konoha village, it is not necessary for Naruto to do everything by himself. But still came. When it comes to the Insuo family, I have to come and see. Hokage nodded and said to him that he was Konoha's third Hokage, Sarutobi Hizen. This Insuo family. What is the origin? You go out first. Sandai said to Chunin beside him. Yes. He agreed and went out. Now there are only 3 generations left, along with the yellow-haired joinin and the baby in the room. Minato, this world is so big, and the powerful families back then weren't just the Senju family and the Uchiha family. This is a long time ago. In addition to the Senju family and the Uchiha family, there is also a powerful family. They can compete with the Senju family and the Uchiha family without relying on any bloodline boundaries. Is it the Insuo family? Minato Namikaze was also taken aback, it turns out that there is such a powerful race. Sandai nodded. But this clan, unwilling to fight and snatch, so they hid, and few people can know about them. These materials are also passed down from generation to generation by the Chiensho clan and the Uchiha clan. If it wasn't for Hokage, I'm afraid it's hard to know. How could such a powerful clan be exterminated? Who did it? Minato looked at the baby on the bed, puzzled. The third generation shook his head. I heard that the person who led this clan was named Inzoro Hen, a ninja with fable ability. He once predicted the establishment of Konoha, the harmony between the Uchiha clan and the Senju clan, and also there is a battle between Madara Uchiha and the first Hokage. Prediction, prophecy. Minato was even more surprised. In his knowledge, only the one in Nyamu Mountain could predict, and this Insolo Hen could not only predict, but also be so detailed, so precise. Anyway, this matter has to be investigated. Before that, this baby will be handed over to you, Minato. The third generation glanced at the baby, and then looked at Minato again solemnly. Huh? What do you mean? Minato was stunned for a moment. This baby will be handed over to you to raise in the future. Three generations still looked at Minato and said without changing his face. No. Kushina and I just got married, and she just got pregnant. Let me bring back a baby. Huh, she won't suspect that it's your illegitimate child, and you have to prepare for taking over as the fourth Hokage. Sandai patted Minato on the shoulder, then left the ward with a smile, leaving Minato with a messy face. It's really, big trouble. Minato looked at the baby on the bed, patted his forehead, and picked him up. Helpless Minato picked up the baby on the hospital bed and left Konoha Hospital. Minato was walking on the road when the baby in his arms also opened his eyes and looked at the handsome man in front of him. It's really a headache, I just opened my eyes, I experienced life and death, and I became the adopted son of Minato. The baby thought in Minato. Namikaze Minato had a headache for him, and he also had a headache for Namikaze Minato. In fact, he woke up when the third generation was talking to Minato just now, and when he heard about Insolo Hen, he was very sure that Insolo Hen must also be a transmigrator. There is no Insolo family in Naruto. If it is a normal person, how can it be possible to establish a family that can fight against the inheritors of Indra and Azura? Fortunately, I have studied in Japan for 3 years and can understand Japanese. That Insolo Hen must know the plot of Naruto very well, so that he could have a smooth sailing in the Warring States period. That era was not too far from now. Insolo Hen was also his great-grandfather, and this baby was the son of the Insolo family. This is a deep sigh in the baby's heart. It seemed that he felt the movement of the baby in his arms. Minato Namikaze looked down at the baby, smiled at him, and reached out to tease the baby. Because it's a baby's body now, he can also happily hold Minato's fingers and smile. This smile makes Minato like him even more. When you get home, Kushina will definitely like you very much. Minato looked at the baby and smiled. Of course she will like the baby. The baby said silently in his heart, there is no woman who will not be cute by the baby. Soon Minato brought the baby to his door. Although he was not married yet, he and Kushina had been living together for a long time. After opening the door, Kushina's voice came from inside, "You're back." "I'm back." Minato also shouted, and at the same time, footsteps were heard in the room, and it was Kushina who walked to the door to meet Minato. Minato took off his shoes and was about to walk into the house. The next moment his eyes met, Kushina's smiling face solidified directly on his face. Namafeng Minato also showed an embarrassed smile, Kushina's expression. Not good. Minato. Kushina still kept smiling at the child in Minato's hands, but this beautiful smile looked so dangerous. Listen to my explanation. Kushina. Minato kept his embarrassed smile. Just when Minato was about to speak, the baby in his arms snorted twice and stretched out his little paw towards Kushina. End of this chapter. Naruto's Hidden Orphan Chapter 3, Kakashi and Rin. Chapter 3 Kakashi and Rin. Baby couldn't stand Minato's embarrassing appearance anymore, so he wanted to help Minato, so he used a cute attack. But it doesn't seem to work. Where did such a cute baby come from? I want to listen to you to explain it. Kushina smiled and squeezed his fist. Well, don't be angry. Minato scratched his head and quickly explained the baby's origin. So it is. Kushina put down her fist and let Minato walk in. Seeing that it was finally okay, the baby launched a cute attack on Kushina again, smiled and hummed at her, and stretched out his hands to hug. Because the vocal cords have not yet developed, he cannot speak even if he can speak. It's so cute. Kushina was finally turned into a cute baby by the baby. She forced it out of Minato's hand, hugged her in her arms and rubbed the baby's face with her face. The baby smelled Kushina's body fragrance, and finally showed the first real smile after coming to this world. His smile also made Kushina like him even more. What a cute baby. Kushina said as she carried the baby into the house, walked to the sofa in the living room and sat down, with Minato behind. We will raise him from now on, whether it should be raised as a younger brother or as a son. Minato said. We just got married. If we can't have another son. But as a younger brother, the age gap is quite large. Minato kept saying. If you're a son, you have to have a name. How about a super flash lap dance? What did you name? Is that for people? Kushina said dissatisfied. Then what do you want to call it? I think it's better to inherit their family's surname. Insolo, let's call him In Xiang. Kushina hesitated and said. In Xiang. Do you have any special meaning? Minato said after thinking. In has the meaning of integrity, and I mean to make him a man of integrity. That's it. Then call In Xiang. Minato laughed, and In Xiang also laughed. I see that you like this name very much, In Xiang. Jushina stretched out her finger and touched In Xiang's cheek and said. In Xiang snorted twice and nodded. What a smart kid, In Xiang. Seeing In Xiang like this, Juxinai and Minato were also very happy. Tell Kakashi and Lin to come to the house for dinner, and let them meet In Xiang as well. Kushina said to Minato. By the way, In Xiang hasn't eaten anything since he was born. Minato said at this time. In Xiang's face couldn't smile anymore. He suddenly felt the hunger in his stomach, because he was so excited about this world that he had just arrived in transmigration, and he suddenly ignored the fact that he didn't eat. Then what are you waiting for? Go buy milk powder. Juxinai had no milk for In Xiang to eat, so she had to ask Minato to buy milk powder. Okay, I'll go right now. Minato quickly put on his clothes and shoes and ran out. Seeing Minato's panicked appearance, Kushina showed a sweet smile at home, and suddenly felt a very happy feeling. It took Kakashi and Lin an afternoon to buy In Xiang a baby carriage, milk powder bottle and so on, but it cost him a lot of money. After feeding In Xiang and drinking milk powder, Joshina happily went to cook. So cute. Minato-sensei. Lin ran to the stroller and looked at In Xiang and said. I didn't expect you all to have children, teacher. Kakashi joked aside. No, it's an orphan whom I took care of for 3 generations. Because the Insolo family is a secret relationship, Minato just said that In Xiang was an orphan. I'm going to help Sister Juxinai cook. Lin took a last look at In Xiang and walked to the kitchen. What a beautiful girl. I took a close look at Lin just now and found that this girl is really beautiful. No wonder Obito is willing to destroy the world for her. Take good care of him when he grows up, Kakashi. Minato patted Kaka on the shoulder and said. What, can't you take care of him yourself? Kakashi rolled his eyes and said. One more person gives more strength. Okay, I know, I will take care of him. Kakashi nodded helplessly and said. In Xiang stretched out his paw towards Kakashi. Oh, it looks like he likes you very much. Minato laughed. Really? Kakashi lowered his head and looked at In Xiang. In Xiang stretched out his claws to grab his mask, trying to pull the mask off, but now his strength is too small, and as a newborn baby, he was struggling to keep himself from sleeping all the time. Want to take off the mask? Kakashi stood up so that In Xiang couldn't touch it. In Xiang snorted twice, revealing an aggrieved expression. I really can't help you. Kakashi couldn't stand seeing his expression. He reached out and took off his mask, let In Xiang take a look, and then took it back. It can be said that he is very fond of In Xiang. After a while, Juxinai and Lin finished the meal, and a few people went to eat. No one played with In Xiang, and he finally couldn't bear to fall asleep. Rin, did you take on a mission to Hidden Mist Village recently? During the meal, Minato and Rin chatted. Well, it shouldn't be very dangerous to go to a hidden mission in Kirien. Lin also nodded and said. You still have to be more careful, Wuyin is not stable. Now that the war has just ended, Wuyin is still on alert. Well, I know. Lin nodded and said. Where's Kakashi? After Kakashi finished speaking, Minato looked at Kakashi again. There are other tasks, but they are secret. Kakashi can only say the same. Alright, don't talk about those things while eating. Kushina knocked on the table and said. Yeah, after all, the child in Sister Kushina's belly is about to be born, have you thought of a name? Lin looked at Kushina and said. Not yet. In fact, it's good to have In Xiang now. In the future, the two of them will be able to take care of each other. Jushina said with a smile, looking at the quiet crib. In Xiang seems to be different from other babies. He is so well behaved, he doesn't cry or make trouble, and he's very smart. Lin said. Like an adult. Kakashi also said aside, and quickly put on his mask. You said that. It seems so. Minato and Kushina looked at each other and said. End of this chapter. Naruto's Hidden Orphan Chapter 4, Minato succeeds Hokage. Chapter 4 Minato succeeds Hokage. But he's still a baby no matter what. Joshinai came to In Xiang's side and looked at In Xiang who was sleeping soundly. Motherhood overflowed again, and he kissed In Xiang gently on the cheek. Sleeping In Xiang stretched out his small hand and scratched his cheek. In Xiang is really likable. Kushina said and returned to her seat. Speaking of which, 3 days later will be the day when Minato-sensei succeeds the 4th Hokage. Lin squinted her eyes and smiled, unfortunately, I can't see it anymore. I can't see it either. Kakashi also said regretfully. Don't be so sorry, it's not a good thing, there will be more headaches in the future. Minato said with a smile. After a few people finished eating, Kushina and Kakashi cleared the table together, because Lin wanted to play with In Xiang, and accidentally woke In Xiang who was sleeping. Although In Xiang was woken up, he didn't cry like other babies, but looked at Lin and laughed. Huh. If you look closely, In Xiang's eyes are lavender, so pretty. Lin looked close to In Xiang's eyes and was happy when In Xiang kissed her on the cheek. Huh. Lin was startled, she didn't expect In Xiang to do this, and she was very happy after the kiss. Oh, Xiao Inxiang has never even kissed me. It seems that he likes Lin very much. Juxinai said with some jealousy seeing this scene in the kitchen. What? I haven't been kissed by anyone yet. Lin said with a blushing face, she was actually embarrassed by a little baby. Obito will be off if he finds out. Kakashi said at this time, the atmosphere became dull and Lin didn't blush anymore. Really? After a while, Kushina gave Kakashi a hammer, what are you talking about at this time? In Xiang clapped his little hands and nodded, seemingly happy to see Kakashi being beaten. This little guy. Kakashi wrinkled the corners of his eyes, looking at In Xiang's happy appearance. After that, Minato sent Kakashi and Lin away. After Kushina finished washing the dishes, she changed In Xiang's clothes, and then pushed In Xiang out with the stroller. This is just the time for lunch. Along the way, I met a lot of people In Xiang knew. They were all greeting and teasing In Xiang. Of course In Xiang was also happy to please them. Among them were Mate Kai and others, and he at the same time as Minato, Hyuga Hizu, Nara Shikahisa and these people. As for the other 12 Xiaoqiang of Konoha, so far only Niji, Tian Tian, and Xiaoli were born, the same age as Yin Xiang. This turn allows everyone in Konoha village to know that Minato and Kushina have an adopted son named Yin Xiang, who is named the 4th generation Hokage boy. After kind Shina bought some small things for the baby that Minato didn't notice, he took Yin Xiang home. To say that Minato was careless, it was not. He bought double copies of everything except the stroller and crib. This was for Naruto in the future, and Naruto was about to be born. Watergate didn't come back until evening. "What are you doing?" Kushina of course asked immediately. 3 generations asked me to go to his trip and gave me some precautions, and inevitably he sighed a few words. Minato scratched his head and smiled. "That's it, this old man is really, and he treats us like children." "I can't say that either. The 3 generations are also thinking of me and told me something about Yin Xiang." "Really? What did he say?" Hearing about Yin Xiang, Kushina also asked quickly. "I still haven't been able to find out who moved the hand, but all his clansmen were killed in their sleep, and there was no time to resist, they have been peaceful for too long." Minato didn't smile anymore, and said seriously. "Really?" Juxinai was also lost, looking at Yin Xiang who was amusing himself in the crib, but fortunately he was still young and could not understand these words. Actually, after hearing this, Yin Xiang's heart was not fluctuated, and he was even a little scared. What if these people came to kill him in the future? "But it doesn't matter, we will protect Yin Xiang in the future." Minato comforted Kushina. "Don't be afraid of shit, what can you protect me, you will die in a few months, and then I will have nothing to do." Yin Xiang said in his heart. By the time the night of the 9 tails came, he was only less than a year old, so even a small baby would be powerless to save them, and the 9 tails could blow him to death even with a single breath. The smile on Yin Xiang's face also slowly disappeared, and she narrowed her eyes. Jiu Shinai thought it was Yin Xiang's sleepiness, so she picked up Yin Xiang and shook him to coax him to sleep. Falling asleep, this baby is physically too easily sleepy. I slept until noon the next day, and I was hungry when we came together. Fortunately, Jiu Shinna stayed by Yin Xiang's side, and when he saw Yin Xiang woke up, he gave Yin Xiang a beautiful smile. After that, he received a basin of water, wiped Yin Xiang's face and hands with a towel, and then fed Yin Xiang to drink milk. Yin Xiang is full after half a bottle of milk, but with such a big belly, he can't eat much. Until the day Minato succeeded Hokage, Yin Xiang spent it like this. On the day Minato succeeded Hokage, the villagers of the whole village gathered downstairs in the Hokage building. Shinai stood behind Minato with Yin Xiang in her arms, watching the 4th generation Hokage fluttering on Minato's royal robe. Yin Xiang also had some yearning in his heart. Not long after Minato succeeded Hokage, a big event happened. Rin committed suicide on Kakashi's Rachel. Kakashi was also very painful for this incident. Killing Rin, Kakashi almost collapsed. At the suggestion of Minato, Kakashi joined Umbu, and his mission was to protect Kushina in secret. Because Kushina is a 9-tailed man, she is very vulnerable during pregnancy and needs protection. Minato is busy with official business and often can't go home. This task is naturally handed over to Kakashi. Kakashi has never entered the door, just silently guarding the roof, and will appear immediately if there is any change. Shinai's belly is getting bigger day by day, and Yin Xiang's boring baby period has passed day by day. Every day besides sleeping, he eats. Because Juxina's belly is getting bigger and bigger day by day, it's very inconvenient to take care of Yin Xiang, so I invited a nurse for Yin Xiang, who can take care of Juxina while taking care of Yin Xiang. End of this chapter. Naruto's Hidden Orphan Chapter 5, The Masked Man Appears. Chapter 5 The Masked Man Appears. Of course Yin Xiang also found out that Lin has not been here for a long time. I am afraid she is dead, but fortunately Yin Xiang and Lin do not have a deep friendship, otherwise it will inevitably be sad. Kakashi would occasionally take off his mask at the window and show his face to look at Xiao Yin Xiang. The corners of his mouth under the mask seemed to smile forcefully, so Yin Xiang was more sure of Lin's death. Xiao Yin Xiang, drink milk. The nurse came over with the bottle, and In Xiang lay on the bed and took the bottle and drank it without him. "It's so good." The nurse patted In Xiang's head and said, "He has never seen such an obedient child, and In Xiang, who is only 5 months old, can already speak some simple conversations, which is simply a genius." "Where's Mom?" In Xiang asked his nurse. "Madam, she is reading the newspaper in the living room. Your brother will be born soon." The nurse also replied. In Xiang nodded, "Okay, I'll call you after drinking." In Xiang said in a broken sentence, which was also to hide his fluent Japanese. "Okay." The nanny nodded with a smile, and went out of the room. In Xiang doesn't need her to care at all here, and Jiu Xinai can take care of herself over there. As a nanny, he usually cooks, washes dishes and cleans. Hygiene is easy. I still remember the first time In Xiang called Mom and Dad, but he made Minato and Kushina happy. Such an older child is so sensible, and he will definitely be a great person in the future. When Minato came back from get off work occasionally, he would also tell In Xiang something about ninjutsu. In Xiang pretended to understand everything and wrote it down. When no one was looking at him, he secretly used his small paws practice printing. In a blink of an eye, 5 months have passed. During this period, Jiraiya also came to see In Xiang, and even named Kushina's child, Naruto. Until this day, this night finally came. Kushina, who was going to give birth that day, was taken out of the village by a woman, and the matter of Kushina giving birth was a secret, so she was so cautious. In a hole outside the village, there are still nodules around, and there are also 4 umbu guarding outside. Minato personally suppressed the sealed ninetails inside, and it was the first time he saw Kushina screaming in pain. "Look!" Finally, in the long cry, a baby's cry came out, and Kushina was not shouting anymore, gasping for breath, listening to Naruto's cry. Kushina's tears fell, those were happy tears. Looking at Naruto in the hands of the mother, Minato was stunned for a while, and when he looked at his real biological son, he shed tears of excitement. After Kushina took a look at Naruto, Minato was about to completely suppress the ninetails, but at this time, the mother was killed, and a masked man appeared in front of them holding Naruto. In these cases, all In Xiang knew was that Jiu Xinai was taken away by the mother, and he and his nurse stayed at home. The 1-year-old In Xiang stood in front of the window, looking out, with a very dignified expression, frightened. The nurse next to me didn't dare to speak. In Xiang knew that something must happen tonight. In Xiang looked at his hand. What could he do with this body? Can't do anything. He could only be here, waiting for the Watergate couple to die. Bump. There was a loud noise, and the small house in an open space at the back of the house suddenly exploded. In Xiang hurried over after hearing it. "Little master! Little master!" The nurse shouted from behind, but In Xiang ignored him at all, ran out the door, and saw Minato fell to the ground with Naruto in his arms. Just now the masked man threw Naruto up and was about to stab him to death with Kool. Minato saved Naruto with a telekinesis, but the blanket that wrapped Naruto was still covered with a detonating talisman. In desperation, Minato used the flying thunder god, came to the small house, and threw away the blanket, and blew up the small house. "Dad!" In Xiang ran to the water gate step by step, then gasped for breath. "In Xiang!" Minato squatted down, not expecting to see In Xiang here. "In Xiang, why did you come here?" Hoo-hoo." In Xiang took 2 quick breaths. "I felt something happen tonight, and I heard an explosion again, so I rushed over." "You're injured, Dad." In Xiang reached out and pulled out the wooden stick stuck in Minato's leg, which had been stuck due to the explosion. "In Xiang." Minato patted In Xiang's head. "Take care of my brother, I'll be back soon." Minato said, using the technique of flying thunder gods again, flew home, put Naruto on the bed, and returned with 2 scrolls left. The masked man's target is Kushina, and he must rush back as soon as possible. Just as Minato was about to leave, In Xiang pulled on Minato's sleeve. "Be sure to come back, Dad." Minato was stunned for a moment, looking at In Xiang's sad expression. "Don't worry, I will definitely come back," Minato said, and returned to the place just now with the technique of flying thunder god. Yin Xiang held the two scrolls in his hand and looked at the two scrolls, the technique of Flying Thunder God and the spiral pill. On the masked man's side, Kushina has been tied to the pillar, and the 9 tails have been drawn. A dark red chakra gushed out from Kushina's abdomen, forming a fox head. Xian Nai got out of his stomach and yelled at the sky, but his eyes had turned into scribbles. Just when the 9 tails were about to attack the weak Kushina, Minato arrived, disappeared here holding Kushina, and came to Yin Xiang again. Mom! Looking at the weak Kushina, Yin Xiang quickly ran over and held Kushina's hand. Yin Xiang, I'm back. Although Jiu Shinai was very weak, she still said to Yin Xiang. Jiu Shinai was carried to the bed by Minato, during which Jiu Shinai was holding Yin Xiang's hand tightly. Mom! Is Mom dying? Yin Xiang was holding Juxinai's hand by the bed, and Juxinai was holding Yin Xiang's hand while hugging Naruto. How could that be? I'm fine. Kushina turned around and touched Yin Xiang's head, showing a reluctant smile. Mom is lying to me, the tailed beast will die if it breaks away from the body. Yin Xiang said that the little tears also flowed down. Jiu Shinai and Minato looked at each other in surprise. Jiu Shinai hurriedly went to help Yin to wipe away tears. How do you know this, Yin Xiang? Juxinai said to Yin Xiang very gently. Dad. Dad will die with my mother in order to seal the tailed beast. I knew it. Yin Xiang panicked and remembered that the 3 generations and Minato had said that Insalo Hen, who could predict, would know. Use this foreknowledge technique to fool them. Wow. Minato put on the royal robe of his 4th Hokage. Came over and patted Yin Xiang's head, folded it with Jiu Shinai's hand. You can't tell anyone what you foresee, Yin Xiang. But Dad. Yin Xiang looked back at Minato, who was already wearing the royal robe. Even if you knew you would die, would you still go? Ah. Minato nodded. This is my responsibility as the 4th Hokage. Minato, thank you, be careful along the way. Kushina turned around and hugged Naruto, and said to Minato. Ah, I'll be right back. Minato said very firmly, and then the figure disappeared in front of Yin Xiang's eyes. End of this chapter. Naruto's Hidden Orphan Chapter 6, 9 Tails appeared. Chapter 6 9 Tails appears. Spirituality. The masked man fell in the middle of Konoha, and directly used the psychic technique to get out of the 9 tails. Boom! 9 tails appeared on the ground and crushed the surrounding houses. Roar! 9 tails yelled at the sky and began to destroy the house. Konoha also acted quickly. All the ninjas were dispatched to cover the retreat of the non-combatants. Mom! Yin Xiang held Jiu Shinai's hand, trembling all over, and Jiu Shinai naturally heard the voice outside. Don't be afraid, Yin Xiang. Jiu Shinai turned around and stretched out his hands to think she wanted to hold Yin Xiang up, but she had no strength at all. So Yin Xiang climbed into the bed by himself. This funny action also made Jiu Shinai smile a little. Yin Xiang climbed to the other side of Naruto, and Jiu Shinai hugged Yin Xiang and Naruto. Don't be afraid, with Minato, everything will pass. Kushina comforted the 2 children. Although she said so, she was also very flustered in her heart. Here, Minato has already fought with the masked man. The location is at the cabin where Minato came with Naruto at the beginning, and Minato also decided that he must get rid of the masked man here. The 9 tails in the village chose to believe in the 3rd generation, and believed that the 3rd generation could suppress the 9 tails. But the ability of the masked man is too weird. Minato's attack will make him pass through, and he can become stronger. However, the name of Minato's genius is not only blown out, he soon understands his method and uses Flying Thunder God. The 2nd stage, with the spiral pill, slammed directly on his back. This time, the masked man was smashed into the ground. After the smoke passed, the masked man's arm fell off, but it was indeed not a real arm like white pulp. Minato didn't give him a chance to speak, so he used Fei Lation again, and when he came to him, he slapped the masked man on the chest and used the contract seal to release the contract between him and 9 tails. In this way, 9 tails also it is not his property. Yin Xiang and Jiu Shinai also heard the movement behind him. Yin Xiang stood up from the bed and jumped down, ready to find Minato. But at this moment, Minato appeared in front of them again, picked up Kushina and Naruto, and was about to leave with Flying Thunder God, but Minato didn't plan to take In Xiang. Fortunately In Xiang was quick-witted and grabbed it. Watergate's clothes. A family of 4 appeared together in front of Kwa, who was transferred by Minato to the outside of the village. In Xiang. Why are you following? Minato immediately panicked when he saw In Xiang. I want to be with you. In Xiang said firmly, but when he really saw the 9 tails in front of him, his whole body was shaking. How violent and terrifying it was. Wow! Several chakra chains appeared behind Kushina's back, trapping Kyubi and directly causing him to lose his ability to move. Wow, wow! At this time, Naruto was also awakened. I woke you up. Kushina gasped, I'm sorry. Naruto. Kushina. Seeing Kushina using this chain, Minato looked at Kushina nervously. Just hold the 9 tails in check. I will die too, so, the resurrection period of the 9 tails. Kushina breathed heavily and said line by line, I will use only my save the chakra and help you, this is the only way. Jean Sina showed a big smile, always come. Thank you for everything you have done for me. Naruto seemed to feel the sad atmosphere, and even his crying became slow and soft. Kushina. You made me the 4th Hokage, you made me your husband, and you made me the father of this child. But I. Minato said, his expression became sad. In Xiang stepped forward and held the back of Minato's hand, Dad. Minato, don't show such a sad expression. Kushina still smiled, I am very happy to have you and In Xiang who love me, and today is the child's birthday. Kushina looked at Naruto and said. More importantly, if I am still alive, what else can I imagine other than imagining the future happy life of our family of 4? Minato listened to Kushina's words, tears rolled down his eyes. Although he is the 4th Hokage, it is his duty to protect the people of the village, but in addition, he is also a husband and a father of 2 children. I only have one last wish, I really want to meet the grown-up In Xiang and Naruto. Kushina looked at the 2 children and said. Kushina, you don't need to die with the 9 tails. Minato wiped away her tears, your only remaining chakra, I will let you see Naruto, and I will seal all your remaining chakra to the on Naruto, combine it with the gossip seal, and I'll take care of the 9 tails. I am not a human pillar, I can only be sealed with ghouls. But, that sealing technique will make the artist. Kushina didn't say anything else, this sealing technique would kill the artist. There is another point, the 9 tails sealed on me are only half, such a powerful force cannot be suppressed by physical means, nor can it be realized from a strategic point of view, the seal of the 9 tails has your participation, if not before the resurrection of the 9 tails the existence of the human pillar force causes the balance of the tailed beast to collapse. If you use the ghoul to ban, you can seal up what I and the other half of the 9 tails have, so the other half of the 9 tails. Minato remembered the son of the prophecy that Jiraiya had said, that is Naruto. Seal it to Naruto, seal it with gossip. Minato said that, and Kushina was also taken aback. I know what you want to say, but the world change in the mouth of teacher Jiraiya, and the disaster that follows the change, I have confirmed 2 things today. The masked man who attacked you will definitely bring blood and blood. Then the person who stopped him is this kid. Minato looked at Naruto and said, this kid, whom teacher Jiraiya values, will open up the future as a human pillar. I don't know why. I firmly believe this. Dad. The other half of the 9 tails can be sealed in my body. In Xiang said aside. In Xiang, you can predict the art, and you will live very hard in the future. Minato looked at In Xiang and said, the art I gave you, you must study hard, the 9 tails cannot be sealed in your body, he will affect to yours. Dad. However, if you seal the 9 tails in Naruto's body, the people in the village will think that Naruto is the 9 tails and will dislike him. Minato and Kushina were stunned at the same time. Does In Xiang want to take care of this for his younger brother? What a good boy. Jiu Shinna also understood what In Xiang meant after hearing it, and touched In Xiang's head. It's okay, In Xiang, Naruto can definitely do it, don't you believe him? Minato also said. I believe him. He can. In Xiang said without hesitation. End of this chapter. Naruto's Hidden Orphan Chapter 7, The Ghouls Are Sealed. Chapter 7 The Ghouls Are Sealed. That's good. Minato said, smiled at In Xiang, and put Naruto on the ground. I didn't expect In Xiang to remember things at such a young age. He is still so sensible. How much will you have to bear in the future? Kunai looked at In Xiang, tears streaming down. Naruto still doesn't remember them, that's a good thing for them, but In Xiang. When I was so young, I understood everything, I started to bear so much at such a young age, and I don't know how much I will bear in the future. Mom, don't cry, I will protect my brother, I will never let him be bullied by others. In Xiang stepped forward to wipe away the tears for Jiu Xian Nai. Jiu Xian Nai hugged In Xiang in her arms, that's the kind of you that I'm most reluctant to bear. Shinai hugged In Xiang, tears could not stop falling. Although it was not her biological child, In Xiang was her first child after all. In the future, you must take care of yourself, eat on time, sleep on time, let go if you want to play, don't restrain yourself, but also take care of your brother, you are such a sensible child, but you are responsible for things like prophecy, you must not. Discovered by others. Kushina said while crying. Mom. In Xiang was overwhelmed by Kushina's embrace, not knowing what to do, he hugged Kushina's hand and clenched his small fist. The ghouls are sealed. On Minato's side, the seal had already begun, and he directly used the ghouls to seal them off, and the of death appeared behind Minato. Trust these two children, they are our sons. Minato said looking at Kushina. That seal. Could it be, the ghouls have been sealed. At some point, Sendai had already arrived under a tree not far away and saw this scene. After the ghouls are sealed, I will seal your chakra on Naruto. I hope you can help him when he is trying to control the Nine Tails as Hiroshima. They are our sons, and that's why I don't want them to carry such a heavy responsibility. Kushina shouted to Minato. And why do you use ghouls to seal them up? So that I can see Naruto when I grow up. Just for such a short time. Why do you have to die for this? Kushina said this, and In Xiangcai understood that sealing the Nine Tails was not enough to kill Minato, and Minato would die, just so that Kushina could see Naruto when he grew up. This is for love. I hope you can accompany Naruto and In Xiang, and protect him when he grows up. Why? For the sake of the balance of the tailed beast, for the sake of the village, and for the sake of the country, do you have to make Naruto a victim? I have to make you a sacrifice for me? A victim. Jiu Shinai shouted, the blood from his mouth sprayed on In Xiang who was in his arms. Abandoning the country, abandoning the village, is the same as abandoning the child. You who have perished your motherland should have a deep understanding of this. What a cruel life will be forced to live for people who have lost their country, not to mention that our family is all ninjas. Also, I can't beat you if I'm alive. Minato said. Kushina was stunned for a moment, although your time as a mother is very short, the things you teach to your two children are beyond my reach. It's your duty to be a mother, not just for you, but for Naruto as well. It is also a father's duty to be willing to die for the sake of the child. Minato crouched down and hugged Naruto, and the family of four squatted face to face. In Xiang was standing. Minato and Kushina's eyes were extremely firm, and the 3 generations of Hokage outside tried to come to help, but because of Kushina's chakra chains, they couldn't get in at all. Seal. Minato stood up and used the ghoul seal on the Nine Tails. The Nine Tails' size was directly reduced by half, and half of the Nine Tails were sealed in Minato's body. Next is the Gossip Seal, which seals the Nine Tails on Naruto. Minato seals the seal, and a stone platform appears in the open space. A circle of candles surrounds the stone platform. It is the altar for the ceremony. On the altar. Nine Tails also looked at Minato with resentment. The altar for the ceremony? You want to seal me up again? And it's still sealed on that kid. Cough. At this moment, Kushina couldn't hold it anymore, and lost her strength for a while. Mom. Looking at Kushina, In Xiang was also very worried. Kushina. Minato also noticed the situation here and hurried over. It's now. Jiwei roared, stretched out his claws and stabbed Naruto. Juxinai suddenly pushed In Xiang away, and In Xiang rolled to the side. Minato blocked Kushina's back, and the two were directly pierced by Kyuubi's claws and slid all the way to Naruto. I said it all, it's my father's responsibility. Minato said with difficulty. If that's the case, mother should fulfill this obligation. Kushina also said. Dad. Mom. In Xiang stood up from the ground, and when he saw this scene, he shouted at them, 3 generations. 3 generations, save them. In Xiang ran to the 3 generations and beat the barrier desperately. But it didn't work at all. Lord Sandai. In Xiang shouted to Sandai. Sandai's face was also very bad. He also wanted to come in, but he couldn't get in at all. In Xiang kept shouting until he was exhausted and fainted on the ground. The child's body does not allow him to support like this. The husband and wife quarreled. It was the first time I lost to you. I understand how serious you are. Thank you, Kushina. Minato said, and at the same time also formed a seal, and channeled a toad. Ah! 9 tails. Toad was startled when he came out, and saw Minato who was pierced. Ah! I said 4 generations, what are you doing? Toadin, I'll give you the sealed key, and then ask Jiraiya-sensei to keep it. Minato said to Toadin. So that's it. This guy Minato intends to save the village by making the child a man-in-law. Hearing what Minato said, the 3 generations also understood what Minato was going to do. Toad Tora also took the key and left. This way I can feel at ease. Minato said, and at the same time the of death behind him began to move, and he licked his knife. Kushina, we don't have much time, it's almost time to launch the gossip seal. I also want to seal chakra on Naruto as much as possible, and I'm about to separate. If you want to say anything to him, just take advantage of now. Minato said to Kushina. Naruto, don't be picky eaters, eat your fill every day, grow up strong, remember to take a hot bath every day, and don't stay up late, make sure you get enough sleep. In addition, make friends. It doesn't matter if you don't have many friends, how many a trusted partner is enough. End of this chapter. Naruto's Hidden Orphan Chapter 8, 3 Generations of Account. Chapter 8 The Account of the 3 Generations. You have to live a good life with your brother. Although my mother is not very good at me, you have to study hard and master ninjutsu well. However, everyone has something they are not good at. Class teachers and seniors, there is one more important thing, about the 3 bands of ninjutsu. First of all, you can't borrow money at will. Remember to save the rewards for tasks. You can't drink alcohol until you are 20 years old. Drinking too much is bad for your health. I know this one too well. In a word, there are only men and women in this world. Sooner or later you will be interested in women, just worry about not being entangled by strange women, and to find excellent women like mother. Speaking of this, Kushina Kazuma also smiled. Also, you have to be careful about the 3 bands. You have to be careful with teacher Jiraiya and other things. Your brother In Xiang will teach you, Naruto. In the future, whether you are sad or painful, you will encounter a lot. Be at your own pace. Have a dream in your heart, then make it a reality, and be confident in yourself. Kunai said, tears falling, I still have a lot. I really have a lot to tell you. I want to live with you, I love you. I'm sorry Minato. I'm the only one who said cheer up. No. It doesn't matter. Brother Kakashi. In Xiang turned back and saw Kakashi wearing a mask. With a mask and a mask, isn't your face stuffy? Kakashi didn't speak, just reached out and took off the mask. Big brother Kakashi. In Xiang ran up and hugged Kakashi, but he could only hug his thighs. What should I do, big brother Kakashi? I'm an orphan again. I'll take care of you in the future. Kakashi put his hand on In Xiang's head. Even though Kakashi was very young, he now volunteered to take care of In Xiang. End of this chapter. Naruto's Hidden Orphan Chapter 9, Wind and Thunder Ninjutsu Practice Physique. Chapter 9 Wind Thunder Ninjutsu Cultivation Physique. Kakashi is also miserable. First, his father died, and he finally had two partners. First, Obito died, and then, personally, killed Lin. Not long after, the teacher and the wife died again, and it was not easy to stay. The next two children, one is still a man Julie, not to mention the genius Kakashi, even the Kakashi can't stand it. Now have you changed from protecting my mother to protecting me? Well, the 3 generations told me that I was secretly protecting you. Kakashi nodded and did not deny it. Let's go back. In Xiang's small hand grabbed Kakashi's big hand and said, Kakashi nodded, took the mask back, and pulled In Xiang away. The two were walking on the street. People on the street were greeting In Xiang, and they had to force In Xiang to eat delicious and fun food. Everyone knew that In Xiang was the child of Minato, and now Minato is fighting to seal the 9 tails. In Xiang became the son of the hero in the village and the orphan of the hero. Everyone already liked In Xiang very much, but now because of Minato, the people in the village took care of In Xiang even more. Looking at the things that Kakashi was carrying, he sighed secretly, if Naruto it is also treated like this, can it grow up? Okay, if it's Naruto. In Xiang thought to himself. In Xiang returned home, and Kakashi gave everything to the wet nurse. Although the Minato couple was gone, In Xiang could still afford the salary. In Xiang also didn't want to keep the wet nurse at home, but he had this figure. It's too small, and it's inconvenient to cook or anything, so I can only keep her. 12 years have passed in an instant. In Xiang has grown into a handsome young man with black hair and a black attire. Unlike other people's open-toed shoes, In Xiang is wearing black shoes. Is moving fast in the jungle. Brush. A black light flashed, and a handful of kunai was pulled from the tree. It was exactly the same as Minato's kunai, and the imprint was the same, and the person who pulled out the kunai was In Xiang. 10 years later, still not as fast as Dad. In Xiang pulled out kunai and shook his head. It's time to go to class, In Xiang. Kakashi's figure appeared under In Xiang and said to In Xiang. At this time, Kakashi had taken off his mask and was no longer a member of Umbu. He just passed by and saw In Xianglua and called him. The shadow clone has already gone from me. This flying thunder technique is 2 chakra. My chakra is enough for me to move 5 times. I'm too tired. I have to restore the chakra. In Xiang meditated and sat down. It's amazing, I learned to fly Thor and shadow clone so quickly. Kakashi laughed below. But it's more than that. If it took so many years to learn these 2 ninjutsu, then the name of a genius on my back is not a joke. In Xiang said boldly. In addition to the shadow clone, he also learned a spiral pill, not even a sea-level ninjutsu. It's not that I don't want to learn it, but that there are no other ninjutsu scrolls in this family at all. Some are just scrolls of sealing techniques, but these extremely complicated sealing techniques, no one instructs Fei-in, and Fei-in can't understand them at all. So now 12-year-old In Xiang only has these 3 ninjutsu and simple 3 body art and physical art. Although it is very enviable to say that the art of flying thunder and spiral pill, but in this world above, In Xiang, who only has these 2 techniques, is not enough to see. You will be graduating soon, so you can do some genin tasks. The task of genin is not all those trivial things, let's leave it to the shadow clone. Kakashi brother, do you have the scrolls of Lei Dun and Feng Dun? Let me learn. We're all at home, I'll go get it for you now. Kakashi nodded and left, and soon brought 2 scrolls to In Xiang, which recorded Feng Dun and Lei Dun. There are only some C-level ninjutsu in here. I wrote down all B-level ninjutsu with a writing wheel. If you need it, I will go back and write it on the scroll, and I will bring it to you tomorrow. Okay, thank you big brother. In Xiang jumped down from the tree and took the scroll in Kakashi's hand. Big brother, you are busy. Ah, nothing has happened recently. Kakashi nodded. How is Naruto? In Xiang asked Kakashi. It's still the same, it's a headache for the 3rd generation to be fooling around outside every day. Kakashi didn't know Naruto's identity until he started to lead the 7th class, but now Kakashi knows in advance because of In Xiang's affairs the Naruto thing, but it doesn't make much difference. Did he wear the new clothes I gave him? You are really bothered to wear it. You prepare new clothes for him every year, and the size is just right. You also prepare gifts for him every year on his birthday. Although he doesn't know who gave it, you are still happy. Accept it. Kakashi said with a smile. I can't go to see him, I have to do something for him, or I'm really sorry for my parents. In Xiang also smiled and said. In Xiang opened the scroll and watched as he spoke. When you can both go out to do the task, you will inevitably meet outside. I'm just waiting for that day. Foam done. Big breakthrough. In Xiang said, with a seal on his hand, a hurricane spewed out of the air, blowing the entire forest to one side, and countless leaves from the tree fell. Kakashi was speechless. Did you just read it once? Did you learn a big breakthrough? I feel that these wind escape ninjutsu are easy to come by. After reading it once, you will feel that kind of feeling. It is probably a physical problem. In Xiang smiled. It is no wonder that the Solo family can become one of the three major families by relying on wind and thunder ninjutsu. 1. The penetration speed of this wind and thunder ninjutsu is really fast. Then look at this. Kakashi said, electric light emitting directly from his hand, Chidori. Chidori. In Xiang's eyes lit up, looked closer, then stretched out his right hand, the chakra in his hand began to condense, and then flashed an electric light, Chidori. I think you are not a genius, but a ghost. Kakashi looked at the electric light in In Xiang's hand, and the electric light in his hand slowly disappeared. Bump. In Xiang slapped Chidori on the tree in front of him, and the tree collapsed. It's amazing. In Xiang looked at his right hand with excitement on his face. With such a physique that he knew at a glance, he could almost catch up with the writing will I. It seems that I can teach you all my wind and thunder ninjutsu, and I have not failed the teacher. Kakashi was also very happy. End of this chapter. Naruto's Hidden Orphan Chapter 10, In Xiang and Naruto. Chapter 10 In Xiang and Naruto. By the way, your nanny was also fired by you. Now the only person who knows your strength is me, right? I think you should graduate from Endure School with your strength now. Kakashi and In Xiang sat together in the tree next, the two of them talked. I want to wait until Naruto graduates to graduate with him, so that I can be with him every day. Even if Naruto arrives at the normal graduation time, it will be a year later than you, and you will be taking the graduation exam soon. At the same time, there are the genius of the Hyuga family, Hyuga Niji, and a strong physique named Rock Lee. Of course I know all this. My shadow avatar is still doing well outside. It always comes first. Niji and Rock Lee are not my opponents. Several times the teacher wants me to graduate early. Well, I am also waiting for Naruto to wait until now. When the graduation exam starts, you won't be able to graduate if you want to. Kakashi laughed. I can repeat the class. Don't make trouble. If you want to repeat your grades based on your grades, can the third generation not know your thoughts? You can graduate with peace of mind, but it's only a year away. There are still many opportunities to meet. I want to see Naruto. I go to school earlier than him, and leave school earlier than him, but I have never seen him. In classroom 301, you go. Kakashi stood up and said. After In Xiang nodded, Kakashi disappeared in front of In Xiang's eyes. After Kakashi left, In Xiang picked up the black jacket on the ground, dressed in black, and approached the academy quickly, and soon reached the roof of the academy, stepping on the wall all the way to the classroom window of 301, but he never did. Find Naruto. This kid shouldn't run out again. In Xiang frowned, then disappeared on the wall, moving back and forth on the roof of Konoha, and finally saw Naruto on Hokage Rock. This guy was at Minato's writing and drawing on the face. Stinky boy. In Xiang pouted, then jumped to Naruto's side. Eh. Naruto was startled by In Xiang, almost fell off the elevator, and was dragged back by In Xiang. Why do you doodle on Hokage Rock? In Xiang said, looking at Naruto. You are, I know, you are the son of the fourth Hokage. Naruto squinted at In Xiang, and suddenly realized that Naruto often walks down the street, and where does In Xiang go? They were all very popular, and Naruto naturally noticed In Xiang. Hearing Naruto's words, In Xiang was not feeling very well. He was obviously the child of Minato. But when In Xiang saw Naruto's clothes, he frowned. It was the yellow clothes he had been wearing all the time. Didn't brother Kakashi say that he was wearing the new clothes he gave him? Why are you still wearing this old clothes? In Xiang asked, looking at Naruto. Huh? Naruto held a paint bucket in his left hand and a brush in his right, looking at his colorful clothes. I only wear this dress when I paint, although I don't know who sends me new clothes every year, but I can't get those clothes dirty, hee. Naruto held the brush. He rubbed his nose with his hands. Yeah. It's the same as my mother. In Xiang listened with a smile on his face. Listen, Naruto, don't scribble on the Hokage rock, especially the fourth Hokage. Why, don't think you are the son of the fourth Hokage and you can point fingers at me. Naruto said nonchalantly. Stinky boy. In Xiang couldn't hold back and punched Naruto in the head, knocking over the paint bucket and everything. Go back with me immediately, if I see you writing nonsense on Hokage rock again. Doodle, be careful, I'm rude to you. In Xiang tied Naruto as he spoke. Shadow clone technique. In Xiangjian forked out a shadow clone to clean Hokage rock, which can be regarded as a big brother to wipe Naruto's ass. Then In Xiang took Naruto back to the ninja academy. You study hard for me, do you hear me? After In Xiang finished speaking, he opened the door and threw Naruto in, then closed the door. What? What arrogance! When I become Hokage, I won't spare you. Naruto, who was tied up, shouted to the door, arching on the ground. Naruto! Irika shouted from behind Naruto. Teacher Irika. Naruto slowly turned his head and saw Irika with a dark face. Take me a good lesson. Irika yelled. Hi. Naruto answered loudly. In Xiang smiled at the door. Naruto, you will become Hokage. Then In Xiang returned to his classroom, knocked on the door, and the shadow clone in the classroom disappeared, and then In Xiang appeared. Door. Although the teacher was puzzled, he still let In Xiang come in. After all, In Xiang has excellent grades and a special status. Even if he is absent from class, the teacher will not say anything. When did Bofeng In Xiang go out? Hyuga Niji frowned and looked at In Xiang. Although In Xiang is still surnamed Insolo, this matter has also been kept secret. Everyone knows that In Xiang is a child of Minato, so everyone naturally thinks that his surname is Bofeng, and he is also called by his surname. In Xiang went straight to his seat, in the middle of the last row. Every time he walked past, he was the focus of the entire classroom. In Xiang still looked very good, and the girls in the classroom were also looking at In Xiang. Yo, Tian Tian. In Xiang walked back to his seat. His tablemate was Tian Tian. When did you go out, why didn't I see it? Tian Tian asked In Xiang in a low voice. Just go out for a while, don't care. In Xiang said with a smile, although the shadow avatar has always come to class, but after the shadow avatar disappears, all the experiences will enter the main body's brain, so In Xiang can still adapt. In class. We are going to take the graduation exam tomorrow, and then we will be assigned to our leading teacher, and I don't know who I will be with. Tian Tian lay on the table, his eyes still turning to Hyuga Niji from time to time. You like Niji Hyuga? In Xiang crawled beside Tian Tian, his head was very close, and his mouth whispered in Tian Tian's ear. Huh? Tian Tian blushed, one because In Xiang said she liked Niji, and the other because In Xiang was too close to him. Who? Who said, I don't like him? Tian Tian denied it. If you like it, but if you don't admit it, it's really boring. In Xiang pouted, resting his chin on his hand and looking at the knowledge on the blackboard. It's all very simple knowledge, and In Xiang has learned it by himself. End of this chapter.